So, good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining me live. How are we? Hands up who loved missing an hour's sleep. Hands up who didn't even notice. And hands up who went between their phone and their timer on the oven and their watch just to make sure they had the right time. Happens every year, doesn't it? Or happens every season, doesn't it? It's so funny. Good morning, Jackie. Thank you so much for joining me. So, the title of my video this morning is Are you afraid of what other people think? And every week when I do these videos, it's about conversations I've had, thoughts I've had through my studies. And this one came up. And it's so in a line with my workshop / boot camp, if you know, you know, that's happening and starting tomorrow morning, 6 a.m, bright and breezy. And this is what I'm going to be talking about too, because are you afraid of what other people think? So I want you to take a few moments and you can answer these comments in the comments if you wish. Good morning, Glenda. She set her alarm. She is a boot camper. She's ready to rock. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? And I want you to sit just with yourself. You don't have to comment if you don't wish, but if you want to share, absolutely. But sit and ask. I'm going to ask you these questions. Sit and think of the answers, okay? So, are you afraid or do you really care what people think? This is what we're going to try. And there's no right or wrong answer here, okay, guys? It doesn't matter if you do, you don't. It's all about growth and progression, okay? So, say for example, if you had a point of view on something, or you were responding to what somebody said on Facebook, do you write something out and then hesitate before you post? Or maybe you're in shopping, and I know if you're like me, I love to pick something out there that's a wee bit fabulous. You go, oh, I love that, and go, oh, I wonder what people would think of me if I wore that. I've been there. You know, are you seeing a scenario and going, oh, I'd love to say this, but I'm afraid of what somebody would say. You're afraid of that judgment. Maybe you've got a goal. Maybe you've got a secret. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'd love to write this book, but people probably think I'm stupid. You know, who do you think you are to write a book? Oh, Fiona, I know it's so. You know, if I was writing this book, like people would say, "Oh, sure, who would buy it?" You know, who do you think you are? Like all of these really negative things. So a lot of us do go through this thing, and it happens at every level. At some point, some of us can recognize and go, right, you know what? I don't care. I'm moving on. But we do, to a certain extent, care what other people think because we like to be liked, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the danger of it is, Glenn is like, I have to hold my opinions, and you know what? Sometimes that's okay to hold your opinions because we don't want to hurt people. But when you are going towards your goals, and this is why I created this new group, it's just for 1 week, it's called Your Worthy Goals, because I really want to give people space and permission to really think about what they actually love without fear of judgment, because everybody in that group is ready to high-five you and see you do whatever the heck you want. Honestly, see when you give yourself that permission and you're like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. It is so freeing. It is liberating. And I was thinking before I came on this morning, I wonder what the world would look like if everybody said what they were thinking. Even Glenda with all her opinions. What would the world look like? And I tried to imagine what this would be like. And my first thought was, well, you'd have a whole lot less more friends. There'll be a lot more arguments. People will be getting sacked from their jobs because they'll be telling their boss what they really think of them. I would say there'd be a whole lot of chaos for a while. But I truly think afterwards it would become quite refreshing because everybody would know where they stand. There would be no time wasted. You know, maybe you can think about a time where maybe you were dating somebody and it was, you know, you weren't really like into them, but you didn't know, like, oh my goodness, if, you know, I said yes to the first date, like, how do I get into the second date? And because you don't want to offend them and all these things, you get yourself into this situation. And I'm sure you can think of other situations. You're like, why did I say yes to this? And now you feel like you're trapped and you can't get out because you're not saying what you're thinking, you know? And I'm sure you can have some really hilarious, hi Shan, how are you? You can think of some really hilarious situations where we've got ourselves in. And by the way, see this fear of judgment? It's created in our own mind. Now, we may have experienced it in the past, okay? And that might be the triggering factor. But I would say leave things in the past. If you are really wanting to go for a goal, but you're scared, and this is conversations I've had this week, people are scared. This is literally what I was told this week. I'm scared of earning more money than my friends in case I lose them. I'm scared of earning more money than my friends in case I lose them because I love them so much. Imagine being in that person's shoes. Can we imagine that? Now, I'm always banging on about my friends, earn more money so you can buy me dinner. That's my goal. I'm unapologetic about that. I love being taken out for dinner. I like my food and I love getting my food bought for me. But imagine that. Imagine being so scared to earn more money because they were afraid of losing their friends. Isn't that just, I was just so shocked. I'm so fortunate now. I've cultivated a lot of friends where we're all like-minded. And I would like to think even friends I have who are not like-minded, because they are my friend, they will be like, go for it, girl. And I have those friends and they're like, yeah, we always knew you would do that, Linda. We always knew you'd achieve this. That's lovely. But that in itself, imagine if you were living in fear of expanding and expressing yourself and going for goals because the fear of judgment. And I would always say, who's talking to you? Like, who's giving you the judgment? Are they doing better than you? Well, then I wouldn't listen to them. Because see, the people who are doing better than you, they never judge you. Because they're not insecure. There's no jealous, there's no envy. And I would say use jealous and envy as a great indicator of where you want to be. So if somebody is doing something or has something that you want and you feel jealousy and envy, go, right, okay, it's not because of that person, it's the thing, like, well, what can I do to achieve that, or what can I do to achieve that kind of success that they're going for? And then that's how you know what you really want. So if you're looking around like, I don't know what I want, well, look around and see what you're jealous of. Where's the envy coming from? And then really think about it. Like, I would say, like, the golden nuggets right there. I know Glenda says that's so sad. Imagine having friends, being, and you know what? That's just a fear. That might not actually be true. Okay? That's just a fear that this particular person was holding in their mind. That they would lose friends if they earned more money. Well, they weren't really good friends to start off with, to be honest, if that's the way they're going to be. But these are all the things, And I look back, when we were young, I don't know if you were like me, but we all wanted to be the same. Like, sometimes I went out with my friends and we nearly looked like twins. With the same top on, with the same jeans on, with the same trainers on. We so much wanted to be liked, so we all wanted to be the same. So when we're all the same, there was no judgment. Isn't that crazy? And then it's not surprising we get to a certain stage of our lives where we have an identity crisis because we don't know who we are because we look like everybody else. I think identity crises are good because it forces you to go and go, who do I want to be? What is it I want to do? So it's the fear of judgment stopping us. Or do you care what other people think? Now, there are some people there who can quite honestly say, I couldn't give a tiny rat's rear end what other people think. And that's great. I embrace it. Good for you. But then there's another side. And I know there's lots of people saying, oh, I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's fine. But you certainly care about what you think of you. And that's the next layer of this. Because it's empowering that you don't care about other people's judgment. What is it about the judgment you give yourself? That you should be working harder, or that imposter syndrome, or if you're in a fitness journey and you still calling yourself fat and ugly, if you're going towards a promotion but you keep telling yourself like you're not smart enough for that, they're going to find you out. How are you going to be able to do this? People are going to think you're stupid. Like, all of the things. That's the next layer of this. Okay? Let me know if this resonates. It's one thing to say, don't care what anybody else thinks, but you really need to care what you think. And it's a self-image part of what I teach my clients is like what they think and believe about themselves is what they get in their life. So we call it, you cannot outperform your self-image. So if you have this goal to be a millionaire, and I'm just throwing it out there, not everybody wants to be a millionaire, but you don't believe you can be, that's pretty much where you're not going to go. And that's it. But a lot of people, before they even set goals, they just automatically think, because of programming and their environment around them and who they're hanging about with, that, oh, this is me, this is just where I'm at, nothing else better can happen. Which is so untrue. Which is kind of where I was at. Thinking that this is not too bad, this is good. But because I never understood that I could do so much more. I had the feeling, but my programming and my conditioning and my thoughts of judgment of others was kind of keeping me back. So this is why setting goals is so important. Because see, when you get yourself so invested in something, you're like, oh my goodness, I really want this. Honestly, you will not care. You will not care what other people think. And as well, imagine when you're going for your goal. I would say goal achievers are the most interesting people on the planet. They are so interesting. I love to have conversations with these kind of people. Like, what are your goals? What are you going for? Like, what is it you're trying to do next? Is your goal to, live abroad for 3 months in the year? Or are you planning to write this book within 31 days? What is it you're doing? I think it's so interesting. So yes, your worthy goals, it's starting tomorrow. And it's purely to give people permission. There's lots of things going on around the world and they're not great. And we're guilted into this. We should be grateful for what we have. But that being guilted into something, it really makes us feel bad. Like, nobody wants this stuff to go on in the world. But don't let it stop you going for what you want to go. You still have empathy. It's still your life. It's still time for you to do what you want to do. And, I speak to my clients on a weekly basis and stuff that they want to do. It's like, yes, it gives you energy. Like, when's the last time you jumped out of bed excited about the day? Not just because it was sunny, because we had a great week of weather. That shifts so many things. Weather does mean so much to us, especially those of us who live in Northern Ireland. We all know this. We love when the weather's great. It makes us feel good. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's saying hello to each other. But what about even if it was a rainy day? You were still excited about what you were going to do. Being excited about something every single day. That comes when you set a lovely worthy goal. That comes from not caring about what people think. And maybe you are in, let me just think. Even for me, the topics that I talk about, not everybody likes it. People think, oh, that's a wee bit, that's okay. They're not my people. They're not my tribe. If they do not like the message that I am portraying and I am spreading, they can simply stop following. It's so easily done. But you'll know that most of them will continue to follow, which I hope, because at some stage, when you're putting out a message, it might not get through the first time. So maybe you're starting a business and you think, oh my goodness, people are going to think I'm pestering them when I'm always posting about my business. Pester them. Pester them. Who cares if they unsubscribe? Who cares if they unfriend? They're not your tribe. Wouldn't you much rather have a quality following of people, or, a smaller group of friends, customers, whatever it is, audience, whatever you're doing, but knowing that they're really interested in what you're doing, rather than a wider audience who are just there for the nosy? And that's okay too. I think curious people are very interesting as well. Always be curious. Do not let your self-worth by how many likes you've got, how many followers you've got, how many people. I've got 7 amazing people join me live this morning, but don't let, if there's nobody joins you for live, or there's 1,000 people join you live, it doesn't matter. Show up for you. Just get your message out there. If you're thinking, oh, Linda, I do these videos, every day and hardly anybody watches, doesn't matter. When you understand the laws of the universe, the laws of cause and effect, the cause is you showing up, the effect is the people that watch it and the things that happen around that. Okay, this is what I teach my clients on a deeper level. Everything you do counts. Keep showing up. Keep doing the things you want to do. Because I tell you what, see, when you get to the end of your life and in your time on this earth and you look back and going, you're going to say, I wish I'd cared less about what people thought. And I'm sure you can go on to YouTube. I've certainly watched them. Go on to YouTube and listen to interviews of people who are at the end stage of their lives, and they're being asked, what are your regrets of life? Where do you see the things they say? I would say top 5 is, usually they would say, oh, I wish I'd told my family and friends I loved them more, probably took more chances, but definitely caring about what people think, it's up there. So we've got an amazing opportunity now to learn, and this is not about being arrogant or rude to people. This is about learning about yourself and how you think and you operate. And also, when you understand how you think and you operate, you can appreciate how other people think and operate. And you know what? It takes away the blame. They're only getting on the way they're getting on because that's where their level of awareness is. They don't know any better. They maybe haven't been taught any better. That doesn't necessarily mean it's their fault. And when you've got that kind of thinking and belief, life is just so wonderful. I love watching people doing their thing, and you're like, goodness, and I hear things that people say, and I just laugh. I don't laugh at them. I just laugh at, the wonderful way the world is, it can be good or bad. It's all about what you perceive it to be. Your perception is one of the most amazing higher mental faculties you've got. You can choose. It's great. You can choose every day to be happy. You can choose every day to be enthused about what you're doing. You can choose every day, I'm just not going to listen. This is great. It's like, oh, my business failed. Great. Means there's room for me to start a new business. I've got time and energy to put towards something new. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I had a conversation with somebody and they were telling me they were divorced. I said, congratulations. They're like, thank you. I think it's great too. But not everybody says that. People say, I'm sorry. But I know people watch this might go, oh, but that's not a very nice thing to say. What if they're really heartbroken? But when you think beyond that, when you think about, moving on from that and being able to create something more beautiful, it's a good thing. Bob Proctor always said, create a vacuum for good. And that's getting rid of the old. That's getting rid of all the things that don't serve you. So that's my thoughts for the week. Do you really care about what people think about you? And you can test yourself. Do you pause before you post that post? Or do you read that text message 4 or 5 times before you're replying to something that maybe has really aggravated you? Maybe somebody's texted you something and you're like, it could be a customer you have. This is one of my favorite things actually, because every word you use has energy, whether you say it, think it, or write it. And I built this rule that I never apologize unless I've done something intentional. Okay, I never apologize unless I've done something intentional, because we don't all go out there to mess up and annoy people. It actually sometimes it genuinely is an accident. We don't do it on purpose. So why are we apologizing and feeling bad when we didn't do it on purpose? So one of the things that in my product-based business, say for example, an order arrived and there was something missing. I would never say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. Let me get another one into the post. I would say, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. I'll get another one popped in the post for you ASAP. Now, how does that sound? Let me know in the comments. How does that sound? Does that sound so much better? Or does it sound so much worse? This is what, setting goals and having positive mindset is more than just, thinking positively every day. It's cultivating this habit that everything, every energy you have, your thoughts, your words, that you're using it in a positive way. And I like to do that a lot with my words. So, just remind about tomorrow, 6 a.m. If you're like, you know what, Linda, I'm tired of caring about what people think. I want to set worthy goals. I want to find out what they are, because I'm not quite sure what they are yet. That's okay. Join me tomorrow. I'll pop the link to the group. There's amazing people in there already, and I've seen the messages. They're getting fired up. They're ready to go. This whole week, you're going to be coached by Bob Proctor through the power of video. This is exclusive access to those outside of my paid coaching group. And this is the last one I'm doing of the year. So no more live workshops, no more live boot camps. I'll be in this group from time to time, but this is the last one I'm doing of the year. Okay, so if you're really like, I want to set 2022 on fire, and I want a glimpse of what it's like to be coached by me and enjoy all the fun and all the learnings that go with it, this is your opportunity. And it starts tomorrow, 6 a.m, bright and breezy, and the agenda's in there, there's a workbook, all the great things. So you don't have to, and it doesn't matter that it's March and you're like, oh my goodness, where have the first 3 months of 2022 gone? It doesn't matter. Every day you can start new. And even on a day where you're not having such a great day, it could be 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you can decide, today's still going to be a great day. Let everything else go. Forget about what people think. Forget about, oh, I've got this planned. The great things happen when you make time for it. So make time for this workshop this week, because it's really going to benefit you. I'm really enthused about doing it. Talking about goals is one of my favorite things, but I'm going to get into not just my goals, but the thoughts of behavior that kind of trip you up along the way. Why people stop and don't finish their goals, and why they retreat. All of these things are going to be covered, and there's some lovely bonuses in there too. So I know it's really early. I feel like I'm on the ball. I know it's 20 past 10, but we all know it's actually 20 past 9. But thank you so much for joining me here this morning. I really hope you enjoyed that. Let's start this week not caring about what anybody else thinks. If you catch yourself pausing, asking yourself, what people think of me if I buy this dress? What will people think of me if I get that promotion and I buy this big fancy car? What will people think of me if I'm moving away and I'm doing this? What will people think of me if I give up my corporate job to live on a beach? We don't care. Not for this week anyway. That's going to be your intention. Work toward those goals. And the beauty of it is, see if you don't want judgment. Don't tell people what your goal is. Just get started. That's the easiest way of doing it. You can get started and go, and you don't even have to tell anybody. But in our group, Your Worthy Goals, we're going to be sharing, because we really want to encourage you to really, really go for it and set things big and new that they've never set before. And I am buzzing to get started. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. As I said, I'll pop the link here if you want to join this group. It's only live. It's a temporary group. It's only going to be live for a week, and then that's it. Shut down forever. So you want to get in there and join the rest of the incredible people who decide, you know what? I want Linda to kick my mind butt all week. Yeah, Glenn says people care a lot less than we think, and this is so true, because we're actually making all this rubbish up in our mind. The mental junk that we create is unbelievable, and this is what you're going to learn as well this week. It's going to be so good. Okay, let me know in the comments if you watch this live or you watch on the replay. Also, let me know, have you watched this video and you decided you're going to jump in Your Worthy Goals group for the week and get up bright and breezy and learn about goals and share your wins and your goals with us. It's going to be so, so good. And I can't wait to see you there. Okay? I'm going to go. Have a great one, and see you guys in Your Worthy group very soon.